Are you ready for your first race? So your first race is coming up. How are you feeling? Let me know in the comment section below. I want to help you guys have some realistic expectations for your first race, right? So yes, you may run a PB in your first race, but let's keep it real. For the majority of athletes, that is not going to be the case. Your first race is unlikely to be the place where you run your personal best. Although you can, and if you do, well done to you. But for those of you who is your first race and you're feeling a little bit nervous, let's talk about what to expect. Let's talk about managing our expectations for that first race. What's its purpose? How can we look at it? How can we utilize it? And how can we make the most of that first race? Hi guys, and welcome back to Fit with T. I hope you guys are good. If you're new here, consider subscribing. I'm making content to help you go from newbie to master in your athletics or fitness. Now, if you're someone who has never raced before, ever, then I've created a guide for you, okay? It's called Navigating Your First Race, a guide for new sprinters. It's an ebook and it's available in the description box, so download that guide because it's really going to help you. I go in detail in that guidebook about what to expect, what you need, like how a competition day is laid out, how to actually navigate through a competition day, right? So if you want that to help ease your mind, to help you ease the nerves, etc. like that, because it's your first race ever, then download that. It's really going to help you. But if this is your first race in terms of the first race of the season, then that's what I want to talk about in this video. So like I said, your first race is unlikely going to be your best race of the season. If it is, you probably would look back on the season quite disappointed, to be honest with you, because even though, let's say you opened up and you ran a PB, the likely trajectory after that would probably either be you stay there or you go down. It's very difficult to go PB like all the way through, although that's possible as well. So yes, there's going to be anomalies, there's going to be unicorns, as they say. There's always going to be people that are going to come out, boom, they run a PB straight away. But for the majority of athletes, your first race is unlikely to be your best race. You may not look back on that first race that favorably, but it's very important to get the first race out of the way. The first race is where you're essentially dusting off the cobwebs and you are getting back into competing. So when was the last time that you actually competed? Did you compete last season? Did you do indoors if it's the outdoor season now? When was your last race? It might be a few months, it might be a month, it might be a year, it might be a couple of years. Everyone's on a different journey. What's your journey? You have to take that into consideration when it comes to the first race of the season, right? Because even though you've been training, and prayerfully for you, training had actually been going very well, and if it is, that's great. If it has been a bit rocky, that can actually play on you mentally, emotionally and stuff like that. But let's just say for a moment that your training has been going really well. You know, you're getting times on training and things are going fantastically well. In an ideal world, we would then go into a competition and it goes fantastically. The same thing you've been seeing in training is the same thing you see in a competition. So what's the problem sometimes? The fact is that when it comes to a competition, there's still different factors that you have to take into consideration. Not every athlete handles nerves the same way. Why is it that we become more nervous in a competition? Because now it's a competition. Now there's actually going to be a record. Now it's actually public, right? Now there's actually, 7 other people next to you in a race, so therefore it becomes a bit of a different stimulus. There's different things to factor in. Now you have to warm up in a specific time. Now you need to go to the call up at a specific time. Now there's a little bit more added pressure to it. So where in training you may have been relaxed, in a relaxed environment that you're comfortable with, this may be a completely new environment, okay? And so all these factors play into it. And so your first race of the season, a lot of time is still kind of training. You're still training because you haven't yet got into the swing of things when it comes to competing in that season. You're basically seeing where you're at. So like I said, you will have an idea from training where you're at, but now you're going to see in competition where you're at. And so you have to give yourself some grace, guys, okay? So see your first race still as a bit of training ground, okay? Still as an opportunity to see, okay, where am I at? How did I execute under pressure? Because that is an element that you cannot have in training. As much as you can do competitive runs with your training group against other training groups as much as possible to create the same sort of stimulus, a competition is just different, okay? And so your first competition, you have that added nerves, that added pressure factor that can just throw things out of alignment for you as an athlete. And especially if you're still quite new to this game, it can be very difficult to learn how to handle that, how you deal with, eating on the day, going to the toilet on the day, things that you may not have to think about in a training session as much. And also the fact that your race could be at any time as well, right? So if you train in the morning, say, and now your race is later, that can be difficult for you to handle, and vice versa. And if it is an outdoor competition, then you even have the weather to take into consideration. So when it comes to competition, the mental side, the emotional side, guys, they all play a factor. That's why we've spoken about execution, setting execution goals. Check out that video instead of just thinking about solely about time all the time. So there's all these other factors that come into a competition. And so your first race of the season, what to expect, guys, just be realistic. Just expect that this is probably not going to be your best race ever. If it is, fantastic, that's amazing, take it and move on. But if not, take it with a pinch of salt and learn to evaluate it. Don't see it as, oh my gosh, I'm so rubbish, oh my gosh, I can't believe that happened. Take the good, take the positive, take it as feedback, go into your training again and get ready for the next race, because the next race you can do better, right? So take it for what it is, which is the first race of the season. The more races you do, the more race sharp you get, because there's training fit, you're fit. Now you want to get race fit, you want to get race sharp, you want to get used to competing. You're used to that pressure, you're able to keep your cool under pressure. Racing in itself is a skill. The more you do it, the better you'll get at it. And for the majority of athletes, the majority, guys, I said majority, so yes, you may be the unicorn, and if you're the unicorn, I'm happy for you, but I am talking to the majority of athletes, like I said, so that you guys do have a realistic expectation when it comes to that first race, okay? Your first race, see it as your first race. It's the first race, you can only get better. Hopefully that will be the case. In life, as human beings, our journey is just not always as linear as we want it to be. There are some ups and downs. So yes, you may have a fantastic first race, next race is not so good, up and down, up and down. Guys, if you have not seen my video where I take you guys through how to actually get over a bad race, then make sure you check out that video over here. And if you have actually had your first race and now you want to make sure that next time you're more prepared, then make sure to check out this video, and I'll see you guys on another Friday. Bye guys.